I greet you in Jesus' precious name. We are back in the chapel again. Oh, my favorite place on Shalom Farm. It is raining outside and we're not complaining, so we've decided to do our programs in the chapel. This chapel was built in 1980. I can hear you say, but Angus, you've told us that before. I want to remind you by my late dad and myself. It's a beautiful place. The peace, the shalom of Jesus is in this place. And I hope and trust it's with you today as well. We're going to start off with the book of Romans, chapter 10, and I'm reading one verse, verse 14. How then shall they call on him in whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe in him of whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? We need to tell people about Jesus Christ. We need to tell people who he is, where he came from, where he's gone, and the most important part is that he's coming back again very soon. I know all of us are saying, Lord, today would be just fine. It couldn't be soon enough. We are living in a world that looks like it's going mad. I want to tell you about a young man. His name was Harry Moorehouse. Harry Moorehouse was born in Yorkshire, England. He came from a middle-class family. His mom and dad were wonderful Christians. But he was a very slight boy in build. He was a timid boy. There was nothing special about him at all, except one thing. He loved Jesus Christ. Now, Harry Moorehouse was known as the boy preacher. That's what they called him, the boy preacher. And a man that was impacted by his life, can you believe it, was the great D.L. Moody, Dwight Lyman Moody. He was totally impacted by the boy preacher. And he was invited over to America, and he went to D.L. Moody's church in Chicago, and D.L. Moody was absolutely amazed at how God used this young boy. He was probably in his late teens, early 20s. For 7 nights straight in a row, he preached one verse. John chapter 3 and verse 16. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believes in him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. 7 nights in a row. He preached the whole verse. And the crowds were enormous. They couldn't fit into the church. It changed the whole mindset of the great evangelist, D.L. Moody. You see, up until that night, the Lord had used D.L. Moody to challenge people. And what he would say was, he would say that the Lord's coming behind the sinner with a two-edged sword to basically destroy him. After he had heard Harry Moorehouse speak about the love of God, his whole attitude changed completely. I want to say to you today, people need love. They don't need to be threatened or basically brought to a stage of fright in order to get into the kingdom of heaven. I want to say to you today, love people. Tell them that Jesus is love. That's all they need. And they will come to Christ quicker than any forceful way. God bless you and goodbye.